Hi guys, this is Rahil Mujahid and you are watching Cloud Saviors. So in this video, we are going to discuss 10 questions for AZ-900. Okay, so if you are preparing for AZ-900, that is the basics level of certification offered by MS Azure. So this video is for you. Before this video, I already uploaded 10 more questions like solving and everything. On the same channel, you can go and watch that before watching this video. So we have 10 SE questions that we are going to discuss. Any questions, any query, whatever you think, whatever small or big things like you may have any kind of questions, please put it in the comment section. So let's start with our question number one. That is as you can see on your screen here, what is Azure virtual machine an example of? Okay, so we have four options. One is PaaS, platform as a service. Okay, second, software as a service. Third, infrastructure as a service. D, FAA service. Okay, so, like, what should be the right answer? This is the basics level since we are talking about AZ-900. This is the Azure Fundamental Examination. That's the beginning of Microsoft Azure. Okay, so what is the example? Like, virtual machine is an example of what? Okay, first, platform as a service. In platform, just go for the definition. In platform, the underlying infra will be provided by Microsoft, okay, or maybe the vendor. But here we are talking about virtual machine. Virtual machine is not a platform as a service. Just ruled out option number A. Let's go for option number B. Software as a service. No, not possible because virtual machine is not a pre-built software that you can use. Okay, just ruled out option number B. Let's go for option number third, that is infrastructure as a service. Okay, so we all know virtual machine is a perfect example of infrastructure as a service. So your right answer would be option number C, that is infrastructure as a service. Okay, let's go to question number second, that is which Azure service is used to store unstructured data like images and videos. Unstructured may be anything, okay, images, videos, files, data files, anything. Okay, so first option we have Azure SQL database. Okay, second Azure table storage. Third, Azure Blob Storage, and the last one we have Azure Queue Storage. So let's go for option number A, Azure SQL Database. We all know that's a relational database. Okay, so the answer is not option A. Okay, because we are talking about unstructured data. Okay, not the structured data. If it would be structured one and relational data, then we'll go for Azure SQL DB. Second, we have Azure Table Storage. That is again not the right answer because we cannot store unstructured data in Azure Table Storage. Okay. Third example, we have Azure Blob Storage. Again, the perfect example of unstructured data which you can store in blob storage. Okay. Like whatever data you have, you can store in blob storage. Okay. Option number D, we have Azure Queue Storage. Again, that is not the right answer. Azure Queue Storage we use for some other purpose. So let's go for option number C, that is Azure Blob Storage. As I already mentioned in my last video, if you don't know the answer, don't worry. Just ruled out the unrelevant one. Option A, option B, and option D. These all are completely unrelatable to the Azure Blob Storage or the complete unstructured data. The right answer would be Azure Blob Storage. Let's go for option number third. Question number third, which is which Azure service provides identity and access management. Okay, so we have option number one, Azure Policy. Option number B, Azure Key Vault. Option number C, Azure Active Directory or Azure AD. Option number D, Azure Monitor. Okay, so let's just again read out the question. Which Azure service provides identity and access management? So we are talking about IAM, where you can create some users or you can assign some policies, you can assign some rights, some access, some roles. Okay, so let's go for option number one, that is Azure Policy. Azure name itself, Azure Policy, nothing to do with the IAM or users or any kind of roles and access. Azure policy is something else which you can allow or restrict some kind of actions over the user. Okay, so that is not the right answer. Let's rule it out. Let's go for option number B, that is Azure Key Vault. As the name suggests, again, Azure Key Vault, it's a kind of a vault where you can store your password, your certifications, or your keys. Okay, so that is not the right answer. Again, let's go for Azure Active Directory. We all know, if I'm talking about IAM, uh, role-based access control, or users and all, so that's again the answer would be Azure Active Directory. Okay, the last one, Azure Monitor, it cannot be the answer because the name itself saying that's a Azure Monitor, which we use just to monitor our infrastructure, just to create alerts, just to trigger action groups. Okay, so that is not the right answer. The right answer would be Azure Active Directory. Okay, now we have the fourth question. What is the SLA uptime for most Azure services? So we are talking about the SLA, service level agreement. Option number one, 95%. Option number B, 97%. Okay. Option number C, 99.9%. Option number D, 100%. Okay. So see, the question is most Azure services. We are not rigid that that should be the SLA. No, because we have different SLA for different services. Okay. So the question is not saying that you have to be rigid for all services. No, they're talking about the most of the services. Okay, so we are talking about the majority of services which is having the SLA. Option A, 95% is very less. I mean, none of the Azure services having 95%, not even 97%. Option number B is 97%. Option number C is 99.9%. Okay, that should be the our right answer. Option number D is 100%. No service can provide the 100% SLA. Okay, no matter how effective, how I would say any kind of service cannot provide this level of SLA. So our answer would be 99.9%, option number C. Okay. Now let's go for option number five. No, question number five. Which Azure feature helps you control cost? Option number A, Azure Advisor. Option number B, Azure Monitor. Then C, Azure Cost Management. Then D, Azure Policy. Now we have the answer in the options only. Azure Advisor, as the name suggests, it will advise you like what you can do, what you should do, the action you have to perform. Option number B, Azure Monitor. Again, that's not the right answer. Option number C, Azure Cost Management. The name itself saying this is the right answer, Azure Cost Management. Azure Policy, again, that is not the right answer. We would like to go for the Azure Cost Management. That is the option number C. Okay, let's go for question number six. Which cloud deployment model allows resources to be shared by multiple organizations? Option number A, private cloud. Option number B, public cloud. Option number C, hybrid cloud, then community cloud. Okay. So private cloud is not the right answer since we're talking about the private companies, they are having their own PCs. Second, public cloud. Okay, public is like what we are using Azure Cloud or AWS or GCP. Option number C, hybrid cloud. Let's go for the again for the question like what it's saying. Which cloud deployment model allows resources to be shared multiple organizations? Okay, so multiple organizations are sharing your multiple resources. So we would like to go for hybrid cloud. Okay, which cloud deployment model allows resources to be shared by multiple organizations? So, hybrid cloud, again, that is not the right answer. Let's go for the last one. Community cloud. Option number D is community cloud. Again, so what I think personally, option number B should be the right answer. That is a public cloud, because we are asking about the cloud deployment model allows resources to be shared by multiple organization. Multiple organization are sharing their resources. So I'm just confused between option number B and option number C. Public cloud should be the right answer, and at the same time, hybrid also can be the answer. Okay, so like this is the time where you have to think first, then you should go for the answer. Okay, let's go for question number seven. Which Azure service is used for serverless computing? We have Azure VM, Azure App Services, Azure Function, Azure Kubernetes Services. We all know the answer. Azure Virtual Machine is a perfect example of infrastructure as a service. You can rule it out. Option number B, Azure, again, Azure App Services, that is not serverless. Option number C, Azure Function, that is the right answer. Okay. As AKS is not serverless, so just remove it. Okay, question number 8 we have, what does capex mean in cloud computing? Option number A, monthly operational cost. Second, upfront infrastructure investment. Third, pay as you go pricing. Option number D, licensing cost. Okay, capex, like whenever we go for DC or any kind of cloud, so you have to put some cost. Okay, so we have different type of costing. Capex is one of them. We call it capital expenditure. Okay, option number 1, monthly operational cost. No, that will come under operational cost. Option number B, upfront infrastructure investment. That is the right answer. Option number C, pay as you go. It is completely irrelevant. Option number D, licensing cost. No, it is not the licensing cost. The answer would be upfront infrastructure investment. That should be the one-time cost only. Okay. Question number 9, which Azure tool provides recommendation to improve performance, security, and cost? We all know the answer. Option number A as your monitor. Option number B as your advisor. Option number C as your policy. Option number D as your sentinel. So let's go from the below. Let's go for option number D, Azure Sentinel. That is not the right answer. We use Azure Sentinel in when we want to use some kind of security, some kind of services, just to check out the kind of the security points and everything in our infrastructure. We use Azure Security Center and Azure Sentinel all together. Option number C, Azure Policy. Again, that is not the right answer. The right answer we have is as your advisor that will advise you like what you have to do in your infrastructure if you want to improve it in terms of costing or in terms of your performance or your security as well. Again, option number A as your monitor is not the right answer. Okay, so now we have the last question. That is the question number 10. Which service helps in monitoring Azure services? We all know that. The answer is Azure Monitor. Okay. So option number A, Azure Backup. Again, that we are not talking about any kind of backup here. So let's remove it. Option number B, Azure Advisor. We just discussed what is Azure Advisor. Option number C, Azure Monitor. That is the right answer. We use it just for the monitoring of the infrastructure. Option D, Azure Cost Management. We all know like we cannot use Azure Cost Management just to monitor our environment. That's all about today's session. I hope you liked it. If you have any kind of doubt, any kind of suggestion, please feel free to put it in the comment section. You can ask me on the LinkedIn as well. My profile is Rahil Mujahid. Search my name on the LinkedIn as well. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe and hit on the like button. See you in the next video.